right, before I go any further, the basically by the time of this review, the episode's been out for only a day. Well, actually, a few hours technically. By the time I've posted this video, and if you haven't seen the episode yet, I will be spoiling stuff in this episode review. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I will give you a few seconds to leave. But if you just want to hit the back button, that's totally fine. Alright, so if you're still here, I'm guessing you've either seen the episode or you want to get spoiled. So, yeah. Anyway, on with the review. Alright, so this is going to be my review of the Season 2 premiere of Arrow. Now, what did I think of it? I really liked it. I really, really enjoyed this whole premiere. I did have about one, maybe two complaints about it, but for the most part, I really enjoyed it. So, this apparently has Felicity and Diggle. It starts out Felicity and Diggle looking for Oliver, who's gone back to the island. He has apparently traveled back to the island. He's been gone for about I think they said 2 months or a month, or was it weeks? I think it was a month. I think he's been gone for a month, maybe 2 months max. But they've just been looking for him for weeks, and he's gone back to the island to basically just live out in solitude after Tommy's death. I almost said Oliver, but yeah, Ollie's been living on this island because of Tommy's death, and he feels really responsible because his best friend died thinking he was a serial killer. And yeah, that's kind of the big theme in this episode, is that it's Oliver trying to change his ways as the Hood, and he doesn't want to be the Hood anymore because of that effect. And that's very understandable because, you know, his best friend, who was pretty much like a brother to him, died thinking he was just a wild animal. And that's a really cool change. I really do like that how they kind of go about changing it. And he's convinced to come back to Starling City to stop this woman called Isabella Roche, I think that's her name, from taking over Queen Consolidated. And yeah, because his mother's in jail for assisting the destruction of the slums. And that's kind of the the thing right there, is that it's him at first trying to take over the family business and attempt to get away from her. Also, Summer Glau, who's playing Isabella Roche, is very interesting. I think what they're trying to do with her is make her the angle, and again, this is just the first episode of season 2, so I could be completely wrong with this theory, but I just have this feeling that they're going to make her they're going to make Roche the Lex Luthor type character to Oliver's Green Arrow. I think that's what they're going to do with her, is make her the Lex Luthor type character, because apparently, and again, I don't know a lot of Green Arrow rogues gallery, but apparently she was a new villain in the Green Arrow comics when J.T. Kroll took over the series before the relaunch, the whole Brightest Day stories. And she was known as the Queen. Yeah, that was her villain name, the Queen. So yeah, okay. I really like Summer Glau in here. It's cool to see her. You know, Firefly, peace. Again, I don't know why when she was announced that she was going to be in this show, everyone was like, "Oh no, the show is canceled." It's not her fault. It's not her fault. But the among other things that we have Thea, who is with Roy. She's dating Roy. She's still dating Roy, and she's taken over the club, and she hasn't forgiven her mother. Now, this was kind of one of the two things I had a problem with, and it's always been Thea. Thea, to me, has always just never been an interesting character. I've always found her kind of annoying. Just how she's written. Don't get me wrong, she's had her good points. I don't hate her like I hate her like Robbie from Gravity Falls, or I don't hate her like a lot of other characters. I just find her, like some of her dialogue and how her personality is, kind of annoying. She really bugs me. I don't outright hate her, because she does have some good moments in here, like at the end of this episode, and that was kind of another redeeming thing for her. But for the most part, yeah, when she was giving off that whole speech of, not wanting to see her mother because she hated her for assisting Malcolm for destroying the Glades. Why did I say slums earlier? Yeah, the Glades. and she's mad at Roy for going out and protecting the Glades. And we all know, is like, if they call him the Red... like, the whole time, every time he showed up, I was like, if they call him the Red Hood just once, I don't know if I'm just gonna facepalm or laugh. I don't know. So, yeah. Also, another thing was that we find out that Laurel has been, working with the new district attorney, who, that actor looks really familiar to me. I've seen him somewhere, but I just don't know where. If anyone knows who that actor is, please tell me. Because that actor looks really familiar to me. Like, I've seen him somewhere. But, yeah, she's working with a new district attorney, and their whole thing is that they want to capture the Hood because they blame him for Laurel joins the district, the DA, because she blames the Hood for technically causing Tommy's death. And again, understandable. Everyone has very understandable reasons behind a lot of these, behind what they do. So I gotta respect that. But yeah, it really starts off with a lot of Oliver just saying, I just want to help my family in this time of crisis, and because Moira, his mother, is still in prison, and they have a great little heart-to-heart about them just talking to one another in prison and her trials coming up, and also it's him dealing with this Roche from taking over his company, and she owns a lot of stock in the company. And also it has him saying, I don't want to put on the Hood anymore because I'm not the Hood, I'm not the vigilante because it kind of led to this. I failed my father, I failed the city, I failed Tommy. And again, it's a point they really drive home. We also get flashbacks to the island of Ollie and Shadow are now a relationship, and Slade is the kind of like the third wheel, and he makes kind of a joke about it. He's still like, freaking Slade Wilson in here is badass, and yeah, I like the dialogue in there. We get some new people who come, some new members, some new terrorists who come into the island and are looking for them. Well, they find them, and they're really good. Like, they catch Shadow off guard when she's only gone for not even a minute. They capture her, and Slade and Ollie go out to find her. That's the whole thing in the flashbacks. And that whole... Now, I'm going to say this. This is, again, another crazy theory I have. And who knows? And again, I could totally be wrong if they say this in the later episodes. Because, again, as of posting this video, I have no clue what's going to happen next in the next few episodes of Season 2. But, yeah, I'm just going to say that I think that's supposed to be the League of Assassins. That's a possibility that might be the League of Assassins, because there is an episode... Episode 5's title is called League of Assassins. I don't know, maybe that's just a wild card, and I could be wrong. I could, honest to God, be wrong about that, but it could be the League of Assassins in there, or they could just be appearing in the city themselves, or they could be appearing in flashbacks, or at both, That's how Oliver may already know them from the island. But, yeah, anyway, that's just my crazy theory right there, because they're really good. These guys were really well trained of catching Shadow off guard. Not so much fighting Deathstroke and Deathstroke and Green Arrow right off the bat. They're not good at being surprised. So who knows? Maybe it's not the League of Assassins, but I don't know. Like, something in the back of my head said maybe. I don't know. But anyway, the main villain of this villains of this episode are called the Hoods. They're a group of vigilantes who are pissed off that they've lost members in the Glades, either children, wives, sisters, family members. All of them have lost something major in the Glades, and they are going after major members. In fact, you see them when they first show up, they gun down the mayor. And it's kind of weird, too, because they make a good... Here's another two things. Again, they're really minor. But actually, no, one's kind of more major than the other. But the first one I'll bring up is that when they even make this point, the Hoods talk about this when they go back to their hideout, and what happens is that they talk about, they're watching the news, and all the news is talking about is Oliver Queen coming back, and they're like, oh, we killed the mayor, and they still don't talk about us. And I was like, that's a good point. You just lost your the guy who runs the city. You just lost your major political power in this city. Shouldn't you be covering that more than a guy coming back from wherever, like they said, from his vacation in Europe? I think that would out Trump it, like saying, "Hey, our mayor is dead. We have a problem here. These guys are now wanted. These guys should be wanted now by the FBI for killing a political figure." So, yeah, that was kind of weird of me. Like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, he's got a point. Why aren't they covering, the hoods killing the mayor? Instead of, Oliver should just be like, oh, hey, guys, in case you didn't see our earlier newscast, Oliver's back. Okay. Another thing I want to bring up, and this is the one I had a problem with, and again, a minor problem. Actually, this is more minor now that I think about it. These hood guys can go anywhere. That is my thing. Like, they can literally go anywhere. These guys literally go anywhere, and I've said that 3 times. What I mean is, these guys just show up wherever they are. Like they take an elevator to the top floor of Queen Consolidated to shoot at Oliver Queen, and I'm like, wait. So you're telling me they got through clearance without shouldn't they have been I don't even think they were sneaking. They were using the goddamn elevator. How did they get past security that had guns? I mean, I'd assume the security members fought them, but then again, shouldn't have someone one of them would have radioed the other security members on the other level saying, "Hey, we've got these heavily armed guys here. Get the guys who pay us out." I'm just saying, that's the other thing. And then another thing is when the hoods show up to capture Thea, they kidnap Thea, and what happens is that they just walk in the club with guns. They have automatic weapons and shotguns. They walk in and they capture Thea. And again, I'm thinking, now wait a minute. I know it's all club and rave and dancing, but when you see a darkened guy in a hood and motorcycle in a motorcycle gear carrying a weapon, I don't care if you're dancing or you're drunk or something, you're gonna realize, hey, that ain't fucking right. That shouldn't be here. Again, it's just a minor thing. These guys could just show up anywhere. Are they fucking ninjas? I mean, I know they're military. They said they're military trained. But even then, I think just common goddamn courtesy would have been like, oh, hey, there's guys with guns here. And it's not like one guy could have seen them. They walked out in the crowds. They were walking past people with guns, and they're all dancing. I'm pretty sure not everyone had their eyes closed while they were dancing. Again, that was just kind of my thing that just kind of what? Wait, what? Oh dear. But... yeah, what else was it? What else was I gonna say? My brain just went off my train of thought just went off the rails. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, Oliver gets back into his costume after his sister's taken away, and what happens is that he just decides, I'm going to kill them all. They capture my sister. This is the only way I can stop them. And we get a flashback back to the island of Slade and Ollie going to save Shadow, and Oliver goes nuts and kills one of them, beats him to death. I think he stabs him to death, or was it a rock he beat him with? Either way, he kills the son of a bitch. And yeah, that after he slaps Shadow, and then they just oh shit, we're outnumbered, and they take them all out. And I'm like, huh. You said you needed to fall back and, come back to this. What happened to that? Again, there's a minor... That's the thing. I have minor complaints. These are really, really tiny. It's just the kind of things that just made me think. I did love this episode. Don't get me wrong, guys. I loved this episode. It's just some minor things here and there. So, yeah, what happens next is that, we get this other scene of Thea talking to the hood members, and she tells him, Malcolm Merlin killed your killed your families. My mother was just my mother was forced. She was bullied by Malcolm, and I'm like, that's the whole thing before, and you still didn't forgive her. But maybe, and they kind of explain it more at the end. They explain it at the end of the episode, which I'm glad about. They have a closing moment with Thea, and I'm actually glad they address that sudden change of character, which actually makes sense when they put that scene in there. And Oliver, makes a long story short, he doesn't kill them, but he wounds them all, and he has this big thing when he comes back to Diggle and Felicity saying, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it totally different. We're going to change our way. I'm going to change my ways. It's not going to be killing. It's going to be about honoring Tommy. And I like that. I really like that. It's now going to be him using more of his head than more violence. I mean, obviously, this show is violent. It's going to have a lot of violence in it, but Oliver at this point is going to no longer kill. All right. I like that. I do. I like that change, and it's a good, reasonable change. So, we also get to... there's another scene, like, again, with Oliver and Laurel talking at Tommy's grave, and I addressed that earlier. But the other scene, and this is the scene I was talking about with Thea and Moira, is that Thea and Moira... They meet in prison, and Thea tells Moira, her mom, that what happens, what was the big problem with her was that she was just angry at her mother for killing all these people. But when she was afraid of dying, she honestly thought, when going through her head, that she was close to dying. She didn't want to have that going through her head of she didn't want her mother thinking that her daughter hated her the rest of her life. And that kind of brought to that scene of her telling about Malcolm Merlyn and all that. And I was like, okay, that makes perfect sense of why that happens. And it was a really touching scene between Thea and her mother of just talking to one another. And it's something that it was really touching, of just saying, oh, don't worry about me, I'm fine until the trial, let's talk about you, I haven't seen you, I just want to talk to you. And they have this great scene of, like, can we hug or are they going to shoot us? And she said, I'm willing to risk it if you are. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. But, yeah, the other thing that made me so happy, another few things was, we cut to Rory. Why'd I say Rory? Roy, yeah. Rory Williams from Doctor Who is not in here. Yeah. Sorry. Roy is walking down the glades, talking to Thea over the phone, and he sees this woman about to be raped. And he tries to stop the three of them. In comes this woman, all in black, beats the ever-loving shit out of them, and leaves. And it's pretty much Black Canary. And a lot of people, I'm going to agree with what a lot of people are saying. Unless they throw us for a total loop, I'm betting that's Laurel's sister as Black Canary. You know, the one that's supposedly still alive? That one? That's a lot of people are saying that, and I'm willing to see that as well. I think that might be it, but who knows? This show can throw you for a loop. That's one thing I like about it, is this show can throw you for a freaking loop. So there's that point. And then pretty much we have this other great scene, like I said, I was talking about when Ollie's talking to Diggle and Felicity, saying, if I'm going to continue being the Hood, then I'm going to do it on my own terms of honoring Tommy, and I'm going to find another way. And they're talking about, I don't want to be called the Vigilante anymore. And Diggle says, well, if you don't want to be called the Vigilante or the Hood, what are you going to call yourself? And you just see, it's this great silent scene of Ollie looking at the arrow, the green arrow, and I was like, oh shit, son! If they start calling him Green Arrow right off in the second episode of this season, I'll just be like, oh yeah. But that's how you end an episode right there. Well, not technically, because they had that flashback of the island and all that, but I really like that's how you end this. That's how you really tease a scene. So all in all, despite the minor complaints I had, I really love this. I really love this season 2 premiere, and I will be talking about. I'm not going to talk about, as always, guys. You know me. I don't talk about episode by episode. I'm just going to wait till season 2's done, or if they're actually no, I probably will talk about it again when if we get a season break. Like there's a break in between the seasons, and I'll cover the episode so far, and then later on I'll talk about the second season as a whole. So. yeah, that's hope you once again. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. What do you guys think is going to be in this season? What kind of twists? What kind of turns? What kind of characters? Because apparently next episode we're getting Bronze Tiger, played by Michael J. White. Holla! Which yeah, I was so pumped seeing Michael J. White playing Bronze frickin' Tiger. I was like, oh, that's so cool. And in the second episode too. We're also apparently getting the Royal Flush Gang. Apparently, I don't know if that's true or not. I think we're getting the Royal Flush Gang as well. We're getting the League of Assassins apparently in episode 5. So yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have Ra's al Ghul or Talia up in there. I don't know. All I know is that the League of Assassins are in here. But yeah, once again, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this. And yeah, you guys tell me what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What do you think is going to happen in season 2? All that good stuff. All right, guys, I'm out.